party for all wards of nation to national executive committee of our party. On the 22nd of April, the National Youth Congress of our party met in Banga City, Bon County, for a National Youth Conference. At that occasion, we were fortunate to have achieved the formulation of our policies, a program policy for the period under review as a Youth Congress. We also achieved the review and adoption of our constitution, the constitution of the National Youth Congress of our party, and they is meant for the official submission and to the National Executive Committee of our party for all who accepted the youth as guiding principles for the running of the National Youth Congress of our party. At this juncture, permit me to begin with our program, the vision for which you all are all here in the presence of the media. I have with you the program sheet. As a matter of fact, I have the master copy of this sheet, considering that I'm the master of ceremony. And it reads, Unity Party, National Youth Congress, Anthony UPNYC, National Headquarters, Stockholm Global, Congo Town, Republic of Nigeria. In the active forum and program by the official presentation of the adopted constitution of the National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, held here at about this time. And the order of our program will proceed as we will be informing you as it is on our program sheet. The first item here on our program sheet is the interlude of battle cry. At this time now, we will call on the militant chairman, Leo Davis, and his militant to charge this place as part of the political slogan as we move forward with our program.
Soutien power!
This hall was very powerful, and I want to appreciate the militancy solidarity forces of the Alternative National Congress to have joined ranks with the militants of the Unity Party to get this discharge. Thank you very much. Moving forward, we now proceed with our program. And the next item is opening prayer. That will be done by Comrade Jacqueline Williams.
It is front page, Africa, live at the headquarters of the Unity Party.
Now that we have the presence of God in our midst,
where the
quickly to the next item
National
on our
Youth
program,
Congress
and that is the
is
welcome
presenting its adopted constitution to the party's national leadership.
designated to the chairperson of the most valued chapter of the Youth Congress of the Unity Party, Comrade Abdullah Lumet.
Thank you, Mr. Quincy, and also thank you to our special guest for coming. So we want to say, on behalf of the National Youth Congress, we want to officially welcome each and every one of you, as you all have gathered here today to observe or witness the official presentation of the adopted constitution of the National Youth Congress. So we want to say you are highly welcome. This is the compound of the National Youth, the national headquarters of the Unity Party. You are highly welcome. And then I also want to use the medium to recognize some personality in the hall. Let me just say this because I may not know everybody in the hall to recognize it, but we feel that I will try my best to recognize them. So we want to start with the more powerful chairman in the hall, Mr. Amin Boda. Mr. Amin Boda is in the hall, the Youth Party. Also in the hall, we want to recognize the presence of the National Secretary General. Also, we want to recognize the Secretary General of the USA chapter in Canada, Mr. Alosha Mabia. Also, we want to recognize the presence of Mr. Warren Bryan. Mr. Warren Bryan is the Assistant Secretary General of the National Also want to recognize the Secretary General of the National Youth Congress. So we also want to recognize the ANC Chairman, Mr. James Morris. I may not be familiar with everybody's name, sorry for that. Mr. James Morris is in the hall. Also the chairman of the ALP is also in the hall and is interact. So we also want to recognize you. And also every other person that's in the hall here we may not recognize, or maybe they not know them by their name. So we want to recognize everybody and want to say you are highly welcome. This is the headquarters of the Unity Party. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the chairman of our Honorable Country chapter of the Youth Congress, Chairman Abdullah Lumet. In addition to that, and I want to recognize the Secretary General of the Liberty Party Youth League, Mohammed Al-Bazari Sunu, Chairman Jim Morris of the ANC Youth Congress, Chairman Shafak Kane of the All African Party Youth Congress, and all of you who have come to visit this occasion, senior policy partners, and the rest of the police here of the National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, our partners from the media, and our brother from the office of the Standard Bearer is also here. You are all welcome to visit this occasion along with us. Thank you very much. We want to move quickly with that. We want to move quickly to the next item. That is the summation of the adopted constitution of the National Youth Congress of our party. And that will be done by the acting National Youth Chairman, the former acting National Youth Chairman, and the Chairman of the Constitution Committee, here present, Chairman Emeritus, now Assistant Secretary General for Auxiliary Affairs of our party, Chairman Warren Bryant. I want to invite you to this podium as you officially take over our argument.
Thank you. Two things quickly. Let the militant here know that when the militant were being done, I was part of it. The militant water is reporting me. don't forget me. And the second thing quick is, you know, I can't blame Lumel, and I feel for Lumel. Almost 2 decades, you know, working together as young people. So to just quickly, like, you know, leave the youth position to accelerate, it will take you some time because we just use the quality of you CDC Lumel wanted to carry him back to being youth. Palestine, Amin Moda, the national chairman of the Unity Party. Palestine, Mohammed Ali, the national. I think I can do that one. I may use my heart and the MC can do that one there.
And Comrade, may we all just be right, excluding our chairman, and receive the arrival of the National Youth Chairman of the Liberty Party, National Chairman of the CPU League, Chairman Olusegun.
You see, that's a secret. Whatever got me moving, I know my lamp, I know my link. They made that email. President Mo Ali, National Secretary General of the Unity Party. My very good friend, one of the many forties, Comrade King. Onismo James is the National Youth Chair of the Liberty Party and the head of the CPP Youth Congress. Recognize the presence of the good friend of mine too. Comrade Siafa is the head of the ALP Youth. Recognize him. I recognize the presence of the National Secretary General of the Liberty Party National Youth Congress. Sorry, I was equal to Congress, but I used to Congress. Comrade, you are welcome to the chairman, Chairman Lasama, Honorable SG. Let me recognize the president of the National Secretary General of the Youth Congress, the Unity Party USA Cardinal Branch. Congress. By was announced. Sometimes ago we were asked by the national leadership of the National Youth Congress and Unity Party to chair a strategic committee. And that committee was the bylaw and constitution committee of the National Youth Congress and Unity Party. We're glad to have been part of history, as the MC put it very regularly. When this day is a historic day, it means a lot of people are here by history made us. So for me to have been asked by the National Youth Congress to chair this committee, not being a law student or having a legal background, I think they saw certain quality in me, and they formed a team, and I too saw quality in the team, and the team were able to work and produce this document. In April of this year, the National Youth Congress assembled in Banga, Hong County, first of its kind for the National Youth Congress of the Unity Party to assemble and deliberate and adopt its own bylaw and constitution. Let me say thank you. Let me salute the team, the acting chair Masana and the team. Did extremely well. Salute the national chair and the team for the support you continue to give the National Youth Congress. I served this body since I joined this body in the Youth Congress. And I want to say this because I said it in Banga. I want to say it quickly before I present my work. That I was Sundra Youth Leader, District Leader, and then went straight to National Youth Leader. And then I resigned. So the argument would be, but what we did was the national leader, they didn't do this thing. But because God wanted to be in the history, so they had the name in check. Even when, even when I left the youth still say, we see certain quality in you, come in check, you can do certain things, come and get this thing done. So when you're writing the history of the United Party National Youth Congress, and you're mentioning bylaw and the Constitution of Media adapted one, you got to mention my name. If you don't do it, then you're not writing right. So let me say thank you to all of you. Thank you to the delegates in Bangladesh. We did a draft. We facilitated a workshop like where we went through this constitution article by article, letter by letter, word by word, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph. We dotted all the R's and we crossed all the T's. This document in my hand was just prepared by Warwick Bryant. The team, a very brilliant team, headed by Warwick Bryant as chairman, Neil Swat as Secretary General, all County Secretary General were members of the committee. We had attention so that to keep the youth moving forward. Since this is just a remark before the presentation, Mr. Chairman, just a few seconds. Congress. I was moved when we were shouting the battle cry, and when the Unity Party medicine, I had not picture leader. That picture leader thing they made you the same, but then next year I will start drinking. Same as picture. But you are leader now, the spot, and you are leading. And the student in the largest in all the political parties. You are just music. Open opportunity to you, Mr. Chairman, you as presiding chair, the teacher. Committees were very effective, very strong. Let me see the record in the public when you were cheering, when you were there. Very effective. And when you call a meeting and you not go over there, just call your phone off. Because you don't get your phone checks. Call you back from. I think we show that you listen and move on. Having said that, Mr. Trump, it's a job that he wants to do. My committee is well pleased. Take this time to present to you the hard copy of the adopted bylaw and constitution of the Unity Party National Youth Congress. Thank you.
Well, thank you to our hard-working chairman of our Constitutional Committee, Chairman Emeritus, now Assistant Secretary, Warwick Bryant, for that vote permitting to reach a bit our protocol, our program. I was singular that the ANC is to take their Secretary General, National Secretary General, the CO. On that note, we want to have the ANC Youth Chairman giving his brief statement, and he can leave us while we continue with the program. Permit him to give a brief statement. So you Chairman.
Let me say, I'd like to stand on the existing protocol and say all protocol observed. But with respect, I'd like to recognize the presence of the National Chairman of the Unity Party, Chairman Hamid Buda, and also the National Secretary General, Mr. Mohamed Ali Alai Mu'ali. I also like to recognize the presence of all of my committee chairs from constituent parties and our Chair Emeritus, Chairman Warwick Bryant. I'd like to say thank you for the brilliant work. Like the MC said, sorry we have to breach protocol. Our National Secretary General is to appear at 2 o'clock at Seal. And so when I received the invitation from Chairman Lasana, I quickly reminded him of it and told him that we will spend a couple of time here and then we'll be accompanying our national SG. So please permit us to just say a word or two, and after that we'll be leaving you. So we'd like to say thank you for the work done so far. And this is what we are proud of. As young people, we need the level of independence. I think when young people are given independence in terms of leadership, it gives them the free will to decide on what to do. As Boris said, we are no longer future leaders, but we are leaders. So when you give us the opportunity to be free at making our own decision, we feel part of the process. We feel that we are heard whenever the opportunity is given us to say what we have in mind. And so the adopted constitution of the National Youth Congress of the Unity Party, I'd like to add a voice to all of the voices to say, Mr. Chairman, please give attention to that document, and to the Youth Congress of the Unity Party, just in case there are some hitches that you need the help of the brothers from the ANC, you can call on us. We'll help you to knock Chairman Amin Muda door. If you want to sleep to your house, to make sure that you give attention to the document, we'll do that. We also want you to continue this. The CPP is our focus. Let me say this before I leave. The CPP does not have any major challenge with the George Weah regime. As far as we are concerned from the CPP, George Weah is a one-term president. And the major problem, the major challenge we have is to make sure that the CPP remains united. As long as we remain united, the force that we will come up with will be a force that the CDC will never reckon with. It will be a force that will be equated to the tsunamis. So what I'm going to show you is, do not worry about George Weah being out by 2023. What we should be worried about is our unity. Let's keep together. Let's keep the unity. Let's continue to be fireburn as we move forward to unite the CPP so we can take George Weah off by 2023. I want to say thank you all for the opportunity. Chairman Muda, please permit us to excuse you because we have to accompany our SG, like I said. I want to say we are with you, the chairman, we are with you, and we are with the document. Please let us know, like I said, if chairman can get here, we'll be willing to work along. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you also so much.
Well, thank you. That was the voice of the chairman of the National Youth Congress of the ANC. Back to our program. At this time, we reached a very, very important part aspect of our program. Even though all our youth leaders will consider their chairpersons the most powerful chairperson, we therefore consider ours the most powerful chairperson. And for this occasion, is the most powerful chairperson here because this is our brother. With that, we move to the statement of purpose, background and presentation of the adopted constitution of the National Youth Congress to the national leadership of our party. That will be done by our El-Potent, Web Khalid, most powerful chairman in our base, Chairman Lasana P. Fofana.
Thank you very much.
Chairman of the Labour Party movement, Honorable Nismo Jim, and members of the AWP team, Comrade Safar Kame, along with his entourage. We have our comrades from the COP. Even though we did that officially, let me also take this time to recognize the arrival of I'd like to recognize the arrival of Comrade Jake Kamakoli. I call him Comrade because he's a fighter. Comrade Jake Kamakoli, the COS in the office of the Standard Bearer of the Unity Party and former Vice President of the Republic of Nigeria. Honorable Jake Kamakoli, you are highly recognized and welcome to this program. I also like to recognize Madam Elena Pinocchio, Special Assistant in the Office of the Standard Bearer and former Vice President of the Republic of Nigeria. Comrade Abdullah Lomas, Chairman of the Mosoraro Chapter and all Executive Committee members of the Mosoraro Chapter here present. Officials, Executive of Auxiliary Organs of the Unity Party Youth Congress, our Secretary General, Comrade V. Marshall Sambola, and members of the National Executive Committee of the National Youth Congress, our hard-working Chairman of the Constitution Committee, Comrade Warren Bryan, and I would quickly also like to recognize one person who started this journey with us, Comrade Kanswa, who is not here with us. Along the journey, he resigned and took a new political decision. So we also want to recognize him because he was also part of this process. But he left, and then we call on Comrade Warren Bryan in a very less space of time. Comrade Bryan was able to take on this responsibility and run with it and provide and produce the success that we have today. So, Comrade Bryan, I'd like to say thank you very much and thank you to all members of the committee that work together to produce this very brilliant document for which we are here today. I want to say, I'd like to also recognize a strong youth members of the Youth Congress, Comrade T. Melvin Sifo. As a Bachelor Comrade, you are highly recognized and we welcome you in this program. And all of our militants, we want to say you are highly welcome and thank you for also the role you are playing from Ghana up to where we are today. Our friends in the media, we also want to say thank you very much for being with us and joining us at this time to cover this program, to send out the message out there that indeed history has been made here at the Unity Party, not just at the Unity Party, but in Liberia as a matter of fact. From my research, this is the first of a kind for a political party youth league to have an independent constitution outside of the mother party. So it is not just the history of the Unity Party, but the history of Liberia in totality. We have witnessed it just similar to what has happened in South Africa. So no wonder why we have the democracy of South Africa very strong, because the Youth Congress or the Youth League of the ANC of South Africa is one of those that have, over the period many years ago, also took on the challenge, the courage to ensure that the constitution was adopted. And the rationale beyond these processes is to ensure that the youth are given voice in the political organization. Normally, the youth have been marginalized in many of the traditional settings of political parties. But I would like to be very sincere to recognize or to say and to congratulate the Unity Party, because the framers of the UP were very generous with the young people of this party. They created the space that the young people can have this independent achievement that we have made today. When you read in the UP Constitution, Article 15 or Article 16 of the UP Constitution, Chapter 6, they granted the youth and the women congresses the authority to have their own constitution, but with the restriction that that constitution should not contravene the mother party. So today, the exercise we started in Ghana, we have come to Morovia to conclude this. That means from our side, turn over to Chairman Amin Boda, who also will play a very important role. The journey to Banga was not an easy one. We went through too many struggles, but that is the true definition of youth. If you are a member of the Youth Congress, you should be able to endure difficulties. We are the sharp foot for the political party, and we call ourselves the first respondent. So we took the challenge. It came with courage, but I'd just like to give you a basic or a synopsis of how we got here. Few months ago, I was then the chairperson of Monsabaro County, the Youth Congress, and history permitted me to rise through the ranks of the party in the Congress extraordinary convention. I was elected as national vice chair of the Unity Party National Youth Congress. A week or two later, our chairperson in Comrade Curtis Barney Dolly traveled to the United States. It presented then a new atmosphere or a new responsibility, a challenge for me and the rest of my team members to ensure that we drive the developmental agenda of the National Youth Congress of the Unity Party. So we took on this challenge, or we took on this task, not knowing the challenges that are involved. We are cognizant of the role that we want to play to transform the lives of our young people in this country. So what first we did was to ensure that we bring on board new members to strengthen the existing team so as to have us carry on our tasks effectively. So that process brought on board the likes of Comrade Ivan Bonmatuku that you see here today. We've also brought on board Comrade Cyrus Green, the Javelin Williams, and other strong, astute young guys and women who have helped to build this team, to give us the strength and the idea for which we were able to produce this constitution. Over the period, we noticed that there were people encroaching on the decision of the Youth Congress of the Unity Party. People were working, forming parallel groups that were performing or usurping the functions of the Youth Congress of the Unity Party. So we needed the opportunity, we needed the time to ensure that we bring a document that will correlate and condense the thought, the ideas, all of the functionaries of the Youth Congress that is being requested by our party. And good enough is that the good thing is the framework of our constitution also make the Unity Party Youth Congress an autonomous organ within the Unity Party, not outside of the Unity Party, but within the Unity Party, meaning we have the right to elect our own National Executive Committee, we have the right to elect every member, we have the same structure of the Unity Party. That's how the framework of our constitution were able to set the Youth Congress. So I think they did a great job, and we have to give them a hand of applause for that. So that presented us the opportunity to ensure that we formalize a document that will ensure that we carry on our work. And it is not just the issues of our parents, of our national officials. It's also with us, because we need to help them to also help us. So to begin with, this document today have put to an end so many of the challenges that were faced by the young people in the party. And so we are asking Chairman Amin Boda that as we submit this document to the National Executive Committee through his high office and the National Secretary General, as he promised during the conference in Banga, that all of those commitments that he made, as well as the office of the Standard Bearer represented by the COS, we want to ask you that this document be considered as a priority in the next NCC or the NDC meeting for deliberation, so as to give the young people a fresh air, to give the young people the platform to execute their responsibility within the party. We like to say that a an active political party